Auto falls the most, over 2%, followed by pharma, media, PSU banks and realty. Foreign investors offload nearly flows worth nearly $2.5 billion in the first fortnight of February 2025. As per MK Research, telecommunication receives the highest inflow of $269 million, whereas the financial services saw outflow of $615 million. Additionally, capital goods sector lost funds worth $586 million. Jefferies says that hospital stocks have been on a downward spree on negative news flows due to price standardization, free bed allocation. The recovery was equally fast once investors gauged the minimal impact from the news flow. Jefferies believes that recent news flow of Adani Group entering healthcare is unlikely to alter the competitive landscape as feared. Adds that weakness in stocks should be used as a buying opportunity given resilient earnings outlook. For the consumption space, JP Morgan says that price hikes speed up and the innovation pace is healthy ahead of summer. Monthly price checks across multiple FMCG product categories indicate that the pace of price hikes rise. The hike is driven by inflation in various agricultural commodities like edible oil, tea, coffee and cocoa. Nomura maintains a buy stance on Axis Bank with a target of 1,230 rupees. The bank's evaluations are inexpensive for a healthy return of assets outlook. Nomura says that a tough liquidity scenario weighs on the financials growth. The asset quality is not a cause of concern on the back of healthy profitability outlook. The domestic pharma industry may not be significantly impacted by potential US tariffs. Brokerages Motilal Oswal and Citi see a minimal impact as India inches closer to a trade deal. The price erosion has reduced the cost of medicines in US and tariffs may raise the US patent costs. Citi, on the other hand, is of the view that tariffs on Indian generics and active pharmaceutical ingredients are unlikely. Since US relies heavily on low-margin Indian generics, tariffs could cause shortages and price hikes. L&T Technology Services gets a double upgrade from Macquarie. The research firm gives a target of 6,530 rupees with an upside of 33%. Macquarie expects the company's growth to pick up in plant and engineering, whereas the margins to benefit from tailwinds. CLSA upgrades high conviction outperformers list. CLSA has a price target of 220 rupees on the stock and had an earlier rating of outperform. CLSA's price target implies a potential upside of 60%, calling Bandhan Bank a play on the MFI recovery cycle with a gradual migration to secured loans. CLSA cited that the new management's intention to increase the share of secured loans to 55% to 60% from the current level of 50%. Morgan Stanley initiates overweight on key industries. The company has a strong cable and wire franchise. The company's business model continues to improve and has multiple domestic growth drivers. The most important growth driver is future of energy theme. Elara Securities is bullish on Adani Energy, believes the company is set to post robust growth in its transmission, distribution and smart meter segment. The company sees growth potential in Mundra Discom. The smart meter segment emerges as key catalyst. Investec initiates a buy rating on Suzlon, says favorable macros are boosting wind energy prospects, which augurs well for the sector. Unlevered balance sheet and strong operations and maintenance portfolio to deliver healthy return on capital employed. MK has come out with a positive view on Indian metal stocks. As per the pecking order, he lists Nalco first, followed by Vedanta and Hindalco. MK expects Hindalco, Vedanta and Nalco to generate upcycle profitability and returns. Citi has come out with a note on oil marketing companies, says that LPG compensation could make or break FY25 earnings. Citi also believes that OMCs could end FY25 on an ugly note unless compensation for LPG losses saves the day. Without the LPG compensation, Citi believes that investor confidence could be shaken and earnings would fall sharply. Vedanta creditors meet today to vote on India demerger plan. The demerger will lead to 5 listed companies: Vedanta Aluminium, Vedanta Oil and Gas, Vedanta Power, Vedanta Steel and Ferrous Materials, and Vedanta Limited. For every 1 share of Vedanta, the shareholders will additionally receive 1 share of each of the few newly listed companies. The benefits of the demerger lies in the fact that investors will get exposure to 5 pure play companies. Newly formed companies have a strong case for re-rating. One MobiKwik system is acquiring 3.39% of the share capital on fully diluted basis of Blostim Fintech. So Blostim is a B2B banking infrastructure platform founded in 2021, specializing in fixed deposit aggregation as its core offering. The company has built strategic partnerships with multiple banks and NBFCs, seamlessly integrating their financial products through robust API solutions. Blostim's plug-and-play technology stack empowers B2C platforms across diverse sectors to efficiently distribute banking products. By leveraging its cutting-edge infrastructure, Blostim enables financial institutions, B2C platforms, and super apps to offer scalable and seamless financial products to end customers. Maharashtra Scooters closes Satara factory due to non-viability of manufacturing operations. The company will transfer leasehold rights and machineries at Satara factory for 73 crore rupees. Government may modify the terms of new EV policy amid Tesla prepares for India entry. Government sources told NDTV Profit that the new EV policy, which was announced in March 2024, will be rolled out in March. The car makers may be mandated to show 2,500 crore revenue by the second year. New guidelines are in work, like 15% import duty for a 4,150 crore investment. Past investments might not be included in this amount. Further details are awaited. Meanwhile, Mahindra & Mahindra shares slipped nearly 6% amid news that the government may tweak norms for electric vehicle players. Additionally, the company is planning to invest in subsidiaries 1,500 crore rupees rights issues. Religare share prices jump as the company informs about the Berman family acquiring a controlling stake after the completion of the open offer. Religare Enterprises said that the Bermans held 83.2 crore equity shares in the company, representing 25.16% stake. The company faced opposition over valuation concerns. Remember, the SEBI and RBI approved a takeover in December 2024. The final update came in after Rashmi Saluja was removed as chairperson. India's private sector experiences its fastest growth in 6 months during February, driven by a surge in services activity. According to HSBC's Flash India Composite Purchasing Managers Index, the survey compiled by S&P Global further indicated that job creation reached a record high, marking a significant development for Asia's third largest economy. Composite PMI output rose to 60.6 in February from 57.7 in January. The PMI, where a reading above 50 signifies expansion, showed substantial improvement, primarily driven by the services sector. The services sector's index rose to 61.1 in February, the highest since March of the previous year. The main accused in the 122 crore rupee New India Cooperative Bank scam, Hitesh Mehta, is being presented before the Chief Judicial Magistrate Court as his police custody ends today. Japan's inflation rises. Core inflation hits 19-month high and stands at 3.2% in January, reinforcing expectations of rate hikes of Bank of Japan. The overall inflation accelerated to 4% from 3.6%, hitting that mark for the first time in 2 years. Fresh food prices rise pushed the overall inflation. Flying industry continues to reel under financial troubles. The Indian aviation industry is likely to report a net loss of 2,000 to 3,000 crore rupees in FY25 and FY26. This is as per a report by Investment Information and Credit Rating Agency of India, that is ICRA. So this is because the airlines are lowering ticket prices to keep the planes full. Even when the fuel costs are high, the industry is expected to see a slow recovery in earnings due to its high fixed costs. DGCA, the regulatory body of civil aviation, pushes for new pilot duty norms amid objections from airlines. Aviation regulator urges Delhi High Court to reject Pilot Federation plea who were opposing these rules. The proposed changes includes increasing the resting limit for pilots from 36 hours to 48 hours. This is being done to combat rising fatigue and to minimize the risk of accidents. Norms will be effective from July 1. Mercedes-Benz in its annual results indicate for weak 2025 sales. The gloomy outlook signifies the continued pressure in Europe. Europe, its largest market, saw a 4% decline in terms of revenue led by Germany, which fell almost 12%. Overall, EBIT, which is earnings before interest and taxes, was also down 31%, and the company's outlook is estimated significantly below 2024 levels. This could mean up to a 15% fall based on the company's definitions. It also expects free cash flow to fall by 25% this year. Easy Trip Planner signs a memorandum of understanding with Korea Tourism Organization, that is the KTO, to promote South Korea as a premier travel destination for Indian tourists. This collaboration aims to position Korea as a premier travel destination for Indian tourists, offering a mix of cultural, natural, and adventure-driven experiences. Through a targeted marketing approach, Ease My Trip and Korea Tourism Organization will work together to increase awareness, improve accessibility, and create seamless travel experiences for Indian travelers exploring Korea. As part of the agreement, Ease My Trip will develop a dedicated Korea microsite on its platform, featuring curated travel itineraries, must-visit attractions, and essential travel tips tailored specifically for Indian travelers. The Association of Mutual Funds of India, or the AMFI, launches 3 key MF Industries initiatives: sachetization of mutual funds to promote financial inclusion. The next one is Investor Education Youth Incentive Scheme for improving financial literacy in school students. And finally, Mutual Fund Investment Tracing and Retrieval Assistant Mitra, revolutionary platform designed to identify and remediate inactive or lost mutual fund holdings. Have not thought about the making the Choti SIP mandatory for all asset management companies. This is the word coming in from SEBI Chief Madhvi Puri Buch from the sidelines of an AMFI event. She adds that the need to mandate something appears when an initiative is making losses, but this is a viable product and the unit economics is working. SEBI chief says that she's open to suggestions on curbing proliferation of thematic funds. When a regulator comes across such things, we think about the reason behind it. One of the factors is arbitrage between normal schemes and NFOs, which is new fund offers. Now, for context, what she means by this is that several investors take advantage of price difference between normal schemes and the NFOs. Now, so by buying lower in one of the scheme and selling higher, the flows in thematic funds have increased, and SEBI is now open to suggestions to curb this issue. The Samsung India Workers Union, backed by the Centre of India Trade Unions, intensify its protest over management of Samsung India suspending its members. The protesting employees allege suspension of 3 office bearers of the union of false charges and against the company using contract workers in the manufacturing process. Justifying its tax demand, notice of $1.4 billion to Skoda Auto, Volkswagen, for allegedly providing misleading information about its imports. The Custom Department told the Bombay HC that Skoda will have to fall in line and not play victim. The court was hearing a petition filed by the automaker last month in which it challenged the notice, terming it as arbitrary and illegal. Citigroup is scaling back its policies around diversity, making it the latest US company to scrap D targets. In a memo to staff, CEO Jane Fraser said that the bank would no longer have aspirational representation goals unless required by local law, and not would it require diverse slates of candidates and diverse panels of interviewers. As part of the changes, Citi is also changing the name of its diversity and equity and inclusion and talent management team to talent management and engagement. The world has definitely started relying on AI as OpenAI's weekly active users surged past 400 million in just February. Not just OpenAI, but Microsoft-backed OpenAI MFST had 300 million weekly active users in December. Its paying business users also crossed 2 million in February, more than doubling from its last update in September. These numbers come weeks after China's DeepSeek AI model launch. Adani Group plans to invest 30,000 crore rupees in Kerala in the next 5 years, says Karan Adani, the managing director of Adani Ports. The company also plans to install e-commerce hubs in Kochi as a strategy of aggressive expansion. Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal says that mother of all deals will be finalized with the US. Says we'll soon start discussing a strong, powerful economic engagement bilateral trade deal with the US. This deal will provide huge opportunities for Indians, Americans to complement each other, strengthens in a turbulent world. He was speaking at the Invest Kerala Summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates the first edition of the School of Ultimate Leadership, that is Seoul Conclave at Bharat Mandapam. Bhutan PM was also present with the Prime Minister on the occasion. The two-day Seoul Leadership Conclave from February 21st to 22nd will serve as a premier platform where leaders from diverse domains like politics, sports, arts and media, the spiritual world, public policy, business and the social sector will share their inspiring life journeys and discuss aspects relating to leadership. External Affairs Minister S. Shankar met with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Thursday in Johannesburg on the sidelines of the G20 Foreign Ministers meeting. The two leaders reviewed the ongoing progress of India-Russia bilateral cooperation and discussed recent developments concerning the Ukraine conflict, including Lavrov's meeting in Riyadh. Jaishankar, in a post on X, stated that glad to meet FM Sergei Lavrov of Russia this evening in Johannesburg, review the continued progress of India-Russia bilateral cooperation. He further added discussed recent developments pertaining to the Ukraine conflict, including his Riyadh meeting. Agreed to remain in touch. A team of 5 archaeologists from the Archaeological Survey of India commenced a groundbreaking underwater explorations off the coast of Dwarka in Gujarat, says the Ministry of Culture. The current underwater investigations mark a significant step in ASI's mission to safeguard India's rich underwater cultural heritage, it said in a statement. Mountain police in Italy have urged tourists not to get too close to Mount Etna's lava flow, which started erupting a few days ago. Skiing nearby is also prohibited at present. The eruption started on 11th of February and caused Catania Airport to divert dozens of flights because of ash clouds in the area. A news conference that was planned to follow talks between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Donald Trump, Ukraine envoy got cancelled. This after the escalation of political tensions between the two countries over how to end the almost 3-year war with Russia. 3 empty buses have exploded on the southern edge of Tel Aviv in what Israeli police say is a suspected terror attack. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered the Israeli military to carry out an intensive operation against centers of terrorism in the occupied West Bank in response. The US Internal Revenue Service has fired over 6,000 employees in a move that would eliminate roughly 6% of the agency's workforce in the midst of the busy tax filing season. The cuts are part of Trump's sweeping downsizing effort that has targeted bank regulators, forest workers, rocket scientists, and tens of thousands of other government employees. US President Donald Trump confirms Kash Patel as the FBI's 9th director after a narrow Senate vote. After his nomination, Kash Patel had vowed that he would lead the FBI to investigate US President Donald Trump's political enemies. And after he was sworn in, he said that he would also rebuild the FBI into one that is transparent, accountable, and committed to justice. The rivalry that had lasted the test of time, Australia and England will take on each other in ICC Men's Champions Trophy 2025 on February 22nd. The match is set to happen in Lahore at Gaddafi Stadium. Both the teams recently clashed in a 5-series ODI match where Australia prevailed a victory over England. Actor Rakhi Sawant summoned to appear before the Maharashtra Cyber Cell on February the 27th to record a statement in connection with the India's Got Latent show. Rakhi Sawant has previously been a guest in one of the episodes of the show. Ashish Chanchlani and Ranveer Alabadia have also been called by the Maharashtra Cyber Cell to record their statements on February 24. Vicky Kaushal's historical action drama Chhawa continues its strong run at the box office, maintaining momentum after a stellar opening weekend. The film has already amassed an impressive 270 crore rupees India net in its first 7 days, remains steady in collections. Well, with that, it's a wrap on Market Express. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit. There's more lined up ahead.
Very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Profit Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
A life which is both taking care of your material needs and taking care of your altruistic needs. That will be the true definition of Viksit Bharat.
In my view, we are already out of that slowdown.
For every anlom, you have to have vilom. You can't just keep doing up and up in the breathing also. You have to come down. So the correction and healthy correction is a very, very integral part of the market.
The private capital expenditure, from where I sit, I see that private capital expenditure is happening.
Any tariff coming on Indian goods will be passed on to American consumers and Indian companies will not be affected.
We feel fairly good about the fact that we can compete with various folks.
Actually, instead of Viksit Bharat, we should call it Re-Viksit Bharat.
बजट भाषण सुना, उसके बाद मेरा पहला एक्रोनिम निकाला मैंने, वो था RRR, रिस्पॉन्सिव, रिस्पॉन्सिबल, रिफॉर्मिस्ट